I don't remember.
I'll just move on to the next thing.
Okay.
How strong are your emotions? When your mood changes, is it for an observable reason or is it seemingly random?
I mean, I probably have a. I mean, some of my emotions are weak and some would be strong. It's probably dependent on what caused the emotions, which kind of answers the second question. They usually do have a reason behind them. But yeah, I mean, if I stub my toe, I might be kind of upset. If my best friend dies, I might be very upset. So kind of a range of strength and emotions. I think it's. I mean, sometimes maybe they're a little more intense than they should be. Based on the situation, it might not be so clear cut. But yeah, they usually have a reason. And if I don't know the reason, I spend time trying to find the reason, and that usually makes me feel a lot better. I find that knowing the reason behind emotions kind of just lets me evaluate them at the intellectual level, and then I can decide if they're worth kind of immersing myself in those emotions. And usually if I don't know the reason, it's for some like shitty reason where I kind of want to get rid of that emotion. Like it's something like for instance, it's something emergent from like my some childhood, not trauma, but some childhood like thing I didn't like, for instance.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When do you feel the most happy and at peace? If that isn't too vague of a question.
Yeah, I might not be able to give a good answer to that.
Okay, we can move on then. The whole world has united under a single world government. It is ruled autocratically. That ruler is you. What's your plan?
Um,
Oh,
do I have any? Do I have any like prep time before the world is given to me?
um,
Oh, you froze, by the way.
yeah, I'm appearing as a black screen on my side. I don't know why.
Um,
Nothing actually happened over here. That's 1 second.
okay.
But confused. Can you hear me at least?
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna let it stay like this since I don't want to start a third part, and
Okay. That's
I
fair
don't
enough.
think my face is an integral part of this.
Maybe it is. Maybe they
Yeah,
will
you're
sorely
right.
miss the presence of your face, but
Yeah,
it'll be all right. They'll get over it.
maybe as ruler, the presence of my face will end up being the one thing you need to save millions of lives.
Yeah, you'll definitely be on the new flag.
Of
Um,
course,
and yeah,
an honor.
I will eliminate Restream for being a terrible buggy program.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Um,
but
you
yeah,
have
no,
like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think you're about to answer it. Yeah, the prep time thing. I think that might be important.
The thing is, like, if I tell you that you have like a day of prep time, then you can't like submerge yourself into a hypothetical day and then come back with the answers.
Oh no, I mean, like, I don't know if we're interpreting what I said the same way. I meant
Yeah.
like theoretically, do I have prep time when it like not literally
But
right
like,
now?
what would you be using that prep time for?
Okay, fair enough. I would. I mean, I would. I'm nowhere near equipped with the knowledge of like I don't know, like geopolitics to like effectively rule the world. I think
Yeah.
I would just
Fair.
study up for like a year if I can be given that. I mean, what I would
Okay.
do, I think, in either situation, I would absolutely need like some kind of counsel to because I can't learn every like little nook and cranny of what makes a society run. I'm going to need to split those tasks up between multiple people. I'll probably create some kind of council with experts in each of like the respective fields that we deem are necessary to kind of run the world in a way to, you know, right the wrongs that currently exist, and also kind of, yeah, just keep pushing progress forward. And I think, yeah, so I'd kind of have like a council. It wouldn't just be me. I mean, technically I'm at the top, but you know, we would make decisions as a team, and I think we'd probably split up. I mean, it would definitely be like a global society, but we'd probably keep borders intact, just because you can't. I don't think you can just rush like huge cultural changes. Like those just kind of have to be slowly grandfathered and worked in, and maybe just naturally progress. So we'd leave the borders the same, but maybe squash. You know, certain conflicts between countries that are already existing. That would
Yeah.
this would all take a lot of time. But I think, you know, and then we would maybe establish like smaller councils for each like subdivision of space on the globe to like deal with more kind of region specific issues. And then if there's some like certain decisions, if they meet some certain criteria, would have to be like escalated to like the higher council to make that decision. But yeah, there's a level of granularity that we wouldn't be able to reach at the top, especially just me being the ruler of the world. So there'd be some kind of structure going down. Probably not democratically elected, but maybe the candidates would be democratically proposed by the people, and then whatever like tier above would basically choose the best fit.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
oh,
No, go ahead. Go
um,
ahead.
this actually led me into a much more interesting question that I just thought of.
Yeah.
So if you have like 24 hours to study and prepare, how would you do that?
Researching people. I would research my team, because that's not enough time to learn all the shit I need to know. So I would just learn who already knows that shit, and then, yeah.
That's fair. Do you have any people in mind? Just out of curiosity.
I don't think so. I really don't think I do right now. I would have to, yeah, I would have to look into that.
Okay.
That's why I need that prep time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my answer to that.
You've somehow made me much more interested in this hypothetical and how I would personally approach this, but I'll think about that later. Do you often keep things clean, and is this important to you? How strictly do you organize your possessions and living space, and is this important to you?
I do, but it is in my nature to not leave things clean. I'm messy as fuck. Some
Yeah.
people might say disgusting, but I think they're being a little too anal. It's not like, someone mentioned this earlier about like the difference between like organization of like objects that you use versus like actual dirt. I mean, I'm not like filthy, but I'm very messy. Yeah, super messy. And I might be very messy for like a few weeks, and then kind of decide like, wow, this is fucked up, and then I'll reorganize everything all at once, and then it'll kind of, yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely on the low end. I'm definitely below average in that category.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever led people? If so, how many and what was the situation?
I mean, I definitely have. I'd have to, let me try to think of a situation. I mean, at work.
The world doesn't count. Sorry, go on.
Like at work, I'm put into like loose leadership positions when it's like, oh, just like lead this investigation, where it's really, I guess all I'm doing is kind of divvying up tasks to people. Like it's like, okay, we get in a meeting. Okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. It's like, go do that, and then we'll come back in a week and kind of combine it all and see where we're at. I don't. I guess my leadership style is fairly hands off. I don't want to micromanage people. I just want them. I usually I usually have a pretty good idea of what someone's capable of. It's like, okay, if I give this person this task, like they're going to do it well. Like, and I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to like look over their shoulder. And I know this person's like not going to do this, but they could do this. So I'll give them this task, and at least they can do that much. But I don't like pushing people. In general, if someone's like not doing their fair share, whatever that may mean, I don't want to be like, it just makes me uncomfortable to have to tell them like, you suck, do better. I don't know. So I just try to avoid that by doing like upfront giving tasks to people that I know that they'll be able to do, basically. I didn't really give a specific reason, but that's the general way I would lead.
Yeah, you should like text everyone at random times. You suck. Do better.
Yeah,
Throughout the project.
I know. Yeah, dude.
Okay. How do you behave in unfamiliar company? Do you immediately enter into a conversation, look around for a while, wait until someone approaches you, etc.?
If it's, I would say more often than less, I'm definitely like looking around. I find it very hard to come out of my shell, if you will, with people that I haven't met before. I'm a lot more free and fluid and open with people that I already know. I've thought about it a lot, why that is. I'm just afraid of what I don't know in that sense when I don't know people. Like, I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. So I just kind of put up a lot of filters until I'm more comfortable. And again, usually I know fairly quickly, like who I could be friends with. And if like
Right.
I don't get the sense from people, then those filters usually stay up, and I'm not very communicative at all.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you quick-tempered? If so, in what cases?
Yeah, I have to say I am, but I'm not. I mean, I know people that are very angry people, and it's like, super aggressive and uncomfortable, and I'm not really like that. But overall, I mean, my emotions are fairly. They can be fairly volatile, and like maybe they're just quick. Like which yeah, you literally said quick tempered. So yeah, my emotions are quick. They happen before I can think about them. I think about them after the fact. So if temper is an emotion that I possess, then it would be quick, because most of my emotions are quick to manifest.
Okay. What do you think of conspiracy theories? Which do you believe in, if any? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never like. I mean, I definitely think they're fun, but I've never like really dove into a conspiracy theory before. I don't know. I think because either way, like I wouldn't be surprised if one way or the other happens, or is like ends up being the truth. Like, it's important to get to the truth, but like, say, I'll just bring up an example, like Epstein killing himself. Like, say he did kill himself, like if like I had like absolute evidence that happened, I'd be like, oh, okay, that I can I guess I can see that. Like he kind of had his fucked up run, and he was finally got caught, and he ended it. But if he didn't kill himself, like I could also see that. But the fact that I can already believe that he did kill himself, like, I'm not sorry, the fact that I already believe that there could be a conspiracy is like enough. Like that's already like enough to say like there's something corrupt there. The fact that it's believable at all. And I think they often arise just when like something happens and the answer given is just like really milk toast, and there's a lot of things obscured. Like there's a lot of, and people have to fill in the blanks, and they often fill in the blanks with like the most, it seems the most like crazy shit they can think of.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's almost, so yeah, if like what's given, like the milquetoast answers all the way on this end of like that's just too obvious, then in reaction people like believe in the conspiracy on the other end. It's like, here's the like worst case crazy scenario. It's kind of like, this might be a weird analogy, but it's like when you're like the way like why people are afraid of the dark. There's some kind of lapse in information, so they fill in the blanks with. And then,
I see what you mean.
They make their own connections because of the lack of data, and those often are kind of extreme, right? Like I don't think there's like if I'm afraid of the dark, I don't think like my best friend is waiting around the corner. I think it's like a killer clown or something. I don't know.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What were you like as a kid? Did any moments or aspects of your personality at the time stand out to you?
I've definitely changed from since I was born.
I think we all
I'm glad
have.
I can say that. Like that's good. Change is good. But
Yeah.
I mean, like personality wise, at least like, yeah, personality wise, I've changed. I think when I was really young, I was probably fairly outgoing when I was like a little kid, like very excitable and yeah, much more initiative. And then at some point I just slowly became more and more, I guess, introverted is the best word I can use, and shy and like socially anxious, like really fucking bad social anxiety for a while there.
I see.
Yeah. And now I'm definitely less socially anxious. I basically had to give myself exposure therapy to get over that because it was actually so crippling. But now I'm still fairly quiet on average in general, but I definitely have when I kind of I'm definitely excitable, and then I'm actually the complete opposite. It's like the other end of the spectrum. I might be like in a group of people just not saying anything for the whole 2-hour conversation, or I might be completely dominating the conversation. Everyone is around me, like giving me my attention as I tell whatever I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's kind of remained constant in my personality, which is something I've thought about, I've been into socionics now for, I guess, since the beginning of this year. So I've given a lot of these things a lot of thought. One thing that remains constant that I can remember, even when I was like 3, like since that far, was kind of like a provoking nature where I like kind of, I guess, just like poking at people in certain ways and like seeing their reaction. And I've always been fascinated with how people react to certain like things. Like when I was 3, I would like throw blocks at my friend's head, and then I would just like laugh at him when he would like, he was like, oh, yeah, no, that sounds shitty. But I mean, I was 3, so give me a break.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
No, but actually that's been probably a very important area of personal growth, was that, because I mean, really what that is like basically like the shit posting trolling, like characteristic that some people has, which often like sucks, like it's destructive. I've learned to give productive pokes now and like progressive pokes and try to inspire like positive change in people. So, but nonetheless,
that's good.
yeah, nonetheless, I really like getting reactions out of people, I guess, is what it is. I mean, you can probably see
Yeah.
that. I like posting like weird memes. I just want to, yeah,
The
stuff like
obvious
that. Like,
solution is to
that's where that comes
throw
from.
bricks at criminals now.
Yeah, that wouldn't be for the same reason.
Fair
Maybe it
enough.
would. Yeah.
You're just pushing their buttons. You're trying to see how far you can go with them, obviously.
Yeah. Shit on your boss's desk.
Of
That's what
course.
they do.
Okay, so I think you're TEN.
That's wild. Can you just? I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess just explain a little bit.
Okay, so like everything you've said over the past minute was very, very clear evidence of centrality, and it was also kind of evidence of extroversion.
I mean, I've definitely. Sorry, go on.
No, what were you saying?
Oh, I was definitely like. I mean, naively, like especially when I first got into personality theory, I was like, "Oh, I'm such an introvert. Definitely an introvert." But then I've really come to the acceptance. Like, I might very well be like extroverted. But what do you mean by centrality? I don't think I fully understand that.
Oh, sorry, I should have clarified. That's referring to the beta and gamma quadras.
Beta and gamma. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Actually, what does it mean? Centrality.
So the idea, yeah, there is a reason behind it. Is that society like it goes through a natural cycle where it's starting with alpha and ending at delta, and with starting from alpha, it builds up and becomes more like developed and more, I guess, powerful in some sense, and then that culminates in the beta and gamma quadras where there's the greatest, like, it's kind of hard to explain, but basically they're the most powerful.
I could just read about it later. Okay.
I will.
We'll go on. I'll listen. I'll hear you out.
Actually, if you've heard of like the concept of like the core of like the geopolitical like core and periphery, the core is more similar to beta and gamma, and the periphery is more similar to alpha and delta. Basically, betas and gammas hold most of the power. Sorry, I'm not helping at all.
Okay, there's a whole ass Wikipedia on it. I'll read that.
Yeah, this is something that's a bit more mainstream. So I thought.
Well, okay, it's just one thing. I'll take your word for it for now.
Yeah.
Beta and gamma. Or no, what did you say? Wait, yeah, beta and gamma. You said, right?
Yeah, basically, it is central because, first of all, it's in the center of the quadras, like they're the two middle quadras, and also, they sort of take the spotlight. I'll try to explain better later. I am just not doing this right.
That's all right. I mean, I get somewhat of a gist of what you're saying.
Okay.
So, fair enough.
And in this case, I mean, like, betas and gammas have a natural, even the introverts have a natural, like, competitive drive. They enjoy, like, any kind, I don't know why I can't explain anything right now. They have this sort of desire to, even if it's subconscious, to enter thrilling, risky situations, and they naturally tend to take those positions, which is why the 4 to 6 types that are most likely to be famous or enter the public sphere are all central. Alphas and deltas just don't really do that.
Okay.
Okay, beyond that, I won't focus so much on this now.
So
I noticed a
extroverted
lot
about
of
that.
I noticed a lot of TE in general. I noticed some in um I I when I was asking about like the ruler of the world thing, I noticed that you had a natural understanding of like the sort of liberal democratic view of society, which indicated gamma to me, because that is the stage of society that that contains a society like that. If that makes any sense, it's a bit of a loose connection, but I saw it as a bit more evidence. I also see the EJ, the linear assertive temperament, and I saw some evidence of that. I don't remember. I don't quite remember what.
It's probably maybe when I was talking about my can I relax, and we're at a relaxed state. Like I'm
That
like
was
I don't
probably
consider
a
that.
big part of it.
Yeah.
Um, if I think that you're probably an introverted subtype, and that might explain why you thought you were definitely an introvert. Um, Especially since you said you weren't that way in childhood. When I ask about that, it's actually the one thing during this questionnaire that tends to give me a big insight into subtype,
Right.
because it subtype changes, and like the natural pattern with people who say they used to be more X quality in childhood is that they used to be an extrovert or an introvert subtype and then they switched. And I think that happened with you. Is there anything else that you'd like me to explain?
So why not EIE? I could have like I mean I didn't say anything, but I've been trying to decide between the four NFs.
Hmm. Um, I could see it. I was considering it. Um, could you tell me why you thought it was like what you saw as evidence towards that type?
Um, I don't think I did, but I was like EIE just being also they're beta, so they're also central. They're EJ temperament. I mean, I didn't really think
Right.
I was an EIE, but as far as like the other NFs, I mean, I thought I was I thought it was maybe IEI maybe. Um,
Why did you think you were NF? Let's start with that. Or why do you?
I'm just pretty comfortable with. Hmm, I mean, I'm definitely comfortable with emotions. I mean, I thought I mean, even in this interview, like just kind of describing nuances and emotions and like situationality of emotions.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking. You did you sort of you sort of said something about having the not having the tendency to like make people around you comfortable and that kind of thing. And while that could be evidence just of polar SI in general, since they tend to have I don't even know, I don't know if it goes that far with you, but they tend to have an off-putting effect, or like sort of shaking people up, I guess. But I would see an NF as also being somewhat more socially versed, I guess. And you described yourself as not being that way. I mean, you seem fine, but like I don't have the social nuances to be able to tell that apart.
Hmm. So when you say you saw a lot of TE, like maybe I mean this is another thing. Like for a lot of my life, like educationally and professionally, I've been in, I guess maybe what you would say like thinking, or thinker, um, like realms of study. Uh, so when you ask me like, or maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just more familiar with that than the average NF. Yeah, I don't. Do you use dimensionality at all in your model?
I'm just still figuring it out to an extent. I definitely think that there's something like it that plays a part, and I use it in a looser way for now. That what you said, subtype would definitely more come into play there. But I thought that just from our conversation, you seem to have high logic. You seem to have pretty strong logic. You didn't make the like obvious, I guess, leaps in reasoning, and that I've seen from, for example, a lot of FENs. But maybe over time I would begin to see that more, and it's not quite as bad, I don't think, with some other types. But you seemed better at that than I would expect from an NF.
Better at what?
Maintaining logical coherency for one on the TI end, and I didn't see quite as much that at all conclusively proves strength in TE, even though I saw a lot of usage of it. But
right, that's what I was thinking.
I do see an ability to make decisions that are pragmatic and efficient to a certain extent. I will say that, for example, FEN is said to, under some systems, make an installation shift into TES in the physiological sphere, and that is a possibility. But that's not how I was seeing it, especially since based on the values I put into the program, the results it gave were just the two gamma and T types, not TES.
Oh.
I will say though that this could have been faulty because I made some additions to make the program I was using more functional, and then I saved it, and then I closed the file, and then I opened it again, and they weren't there. So I had to not use those things, and it kind of threw me off a lot.
Okay.
If you are really doubting, then I can add those in and we can do a follow-up, or you can like ask more questions, we can get more clarification, discuss more. That's totally up to you.
Yeah, that's definitely one type I've never considered seriously. I mean, I've definitely considered I've considered quite a few types, but for some reason, like, that's one I just, like, no, that's definitely not me. But I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah, I could have been way off in this case. I'm willing to admit that, but that was the evidence that I collected.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, your rings, I mean, I'm still new to your theory, but are the rings something that you observe?
I am trying to. It honestly like takes a bit of like concerted thinking to take the theory that I create and then figure out exactly how to apply it to reality in practice. And I've been pretty busy with other things, but I think I would be able to. I think just working on it gave me like a sort of subconscious sense of those things, and that might have transferred over. I just have to think of it to see how that worked out here.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there anything specifically pertaining to that you were wondering about?
I know TENs, like, they would at least very much like to use a lot of PE and NE and just kind of roll with that.
Right.
I don't know if you saw that in particular.
I don't know if I
Okay.
saw that in this case, but like,
Yeah,
but if you were that type, then I would expect to see that as a major part to some extent.
Okay.
Yeah. Were there any rings on any of those levels that you thought described you especially well?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
Specifically. I'll definitely have to take another read over that. Usually takes me a couple times to get the gist.
I understand that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And this model, how well does it map to Model G? I actually don't even know Model G that well either. I'm mostly familiar with Model A. That's just where I started because I'm still
Right.
semi-new to socionics, so I'm fairly familiar with
Well,
Model
it, I mean, I used to just use Model G, and this is sort of an extension of that and an expansion upon it. So it was originally very similar, and that's
A. Yeah.
still true to a certain extent, but that's changing with time. Um, and that is one problem with this. Like 6 months out from now, um, my type images might be different than what they are now. But I still think that what I'm using right now could be useful to people, so I'm
Okay.
providing that information.
Yeah, fair enough. You use the cognitive styles in your model, right?
Yes,
So what is it for TEN again?
they use the vertical synergetic, as Golinko describes it, or the stochastic cognitive style. Interestingly, I mostly was thinking that I saw some evidence of dialectical, but I think that I see that too often just because I am dialectical and I am particularly like keen to that kind of thinking, and I'm able to spot it. And that's
Yeah,
not true of other. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely well, like I said, I never really gave TEN a lot of consideration for my own type, but now with
Yeah.
this new information, it might kind of open up some realization if I go back and read that over. So I'll definitely do that. I might watch this video over again also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't actually considered NIT as my own type until like shortly before the time that I realized that it probably was my best fit type. Before then, for like a long time, I thought I was definitely some kind of alpha NT. So I think that's a really common experience.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I don't have any other thoughts at the moment. If
Okay.
you also don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to message me if you end up having anything else you'd like to know.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, I will let you go.